What up guys, and welcome to another CNFT market update where we check out the overall volume of the Cardano NFT market, as well as some of the biggest movers in the space for the week, and then some other projects that have grabbed my attention recently. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. First things first guys, how does the overall market volume look like in the Cardano NFT space? And as you'll notice, we have been steadily going down ever since mid to late October when we really went on a crazy boom out of nowhere. And since then we have steadily been declining, and since November started, we've pretty much been hovering anywhere between 700,000 and 1 million ADA per day in transactions, which honestly isn't too bad when you compare it to a couple months ago when we were literally only getting like 400,000 to 500,000 ADA worth of volume. Now, why the heck is this happening? Well, guys, the whole entire world is going to crap right now. We've known this has been going on for a while, but inflation rates are hitting record highs in a lot of countries around the world. Things are escalating war-wise with Ukraine and Russia, with missiles hitting Poland by accident and all this stuff. And then we've had major exchanges such as FTX pretty much come out and say, yeah, we were a Ponzi scheme, and it was pretty much like Enron, and now over like $8-9 billion of assets are pretty much lost, and this guy ended up being a complete fraud. We have Library Token, which literally wasn't, in my opinion, when I researched it, not that big of a deal, all of a sudden be classified as a security, which puts major blockchains and major cryptocurrencies out there pretty in danger, in my opinion, as far as being classified as a security based on what I read with this case. And then on top of that, the US is coming out of nowhere and saying, hey, we're launching a digital dollar blockchain, kind of like China did, and we're working with the Federal Reserve, and we pretty much have the powerhouses like MasterCard and Wells Fargo working on this pilot program, and you even have like Edward Snowden down here saying it begins. And this is a whole video that I can make here, but CBDCs are not a positive thing in my opinion, guys, and it really is, in my opinion, a power play from the US government to really try to control more stuff. And then on top of information and news like that coming out, we also have a domino effect that is being caused from the whole FTX collapse, where we have Gemini, BlockFi, Genesis, and other lending platforms all of a sudden being over leveraged, and a lot of them are halting different withdrawals or basically requesting hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars in emergency funds. As you can see, guys, the whole world is absolutely crazy right now, and I really don't feel comfortable with the approach the US is taking on a lot of different things. Like I said, I think they're really just trying to battle for control right now, and they want to be able to track and trace and control as many transactions as possible. And it makes me a little bit worried, especially with that Library Token lawsuit, that they can go in and they can start saying, hey, Ethereum's a security, Cardano's a security, and really try to push these things down as much as possible and take control with their own digital dollar, rather than basically making clear regulations and guidelines on how people should operate and how these cryptos should operate, so people can actually be safe as investors rather than the BS that they're doing. But that's a whole other talk. What am I doing right now? Well, guys, I still believe that the overall market cap for crypto is just so damn low at 800 billion when compared to the potential it can be at in 5 to 10 years. That being said, just because something is in the top 10, just because it's one of the biggest exchanges, just because it's a blue chip NFT project, it does not mean it's safe. It is important to remind everyone here that nothing is safe in the space right now, simply because the space is so new and there's so many things that still have to play out. There will be more FTXs. There will be more BlockFis and Genesis and, Terra Lunas. Like, there will be more situations like that happen like that, guys. So don't invest money that you can't afford to lose. And honestly, if you're just trying to bet on the overall crypto space right now, and you're trying to go as risk-free as possible while remaining in crypto, Bitcoin is going to be the safest thing. Now that the doom and gloom is over, let's talk about what's important in life. Let's talk about what's crucial to survival, and that is JPEGs on Cardano. Okay, number one here, biggest volume of the week, Ape Society, 371,000 ADA worth of volume. Coming in at number 2 is Oremob. 3, we have DEADPXLZ. Number 4 is NFTseeker Tools. 5 is Spacebudz. Coming in at number 6 with 146,000 ADA worth of volume is the JPG Junkies. 7 is Unbothered Wolves. Cabins by Ape Society is number 8. Number 9 is Clay Nation by Claymates. And wrapping in at number 10 is the Raccoon Syndicate with 110,000 ADA worth of volume. First project on the list are the Ape Society, and even though their society token has gone on a massive drop, all the way from about 0.35 all the way to 0.09, the actual apes themselves have been holding a very strong floor above 8,000 ADA, and this has honestly been insane to me, just how strong this floor has been, even though the society token has taken a massive hit. Now, as far as different things that are coming up in their ecosystem, they do have their whole entire Web3 incubator launchpad type thing, where they're basically going to help give exposure and mentorship to new projects, as well as have ADA Anvil mint their actual collections. That should be coming somewhat soon in the future. I know a lot of people have been applying to that, and then when it comes to their actual cabins, all of their craftsmen basically materials and supplies and being able to build different things for your cabins, all of that is supposed to come out pretty soon here. So maybe we will see some re-interest back into the society token once you can actually use that to build different stuff in their ecosystem. The next project on the list is Oremob, and this project has pretty much been holding that 500 ADA floor this whole time. They're still in the top of the charts when it comes to overall volume in the space, so I'm still kind of at like an arm's reach right now, and there isn't very much catalyst plan for the project. I know that they just came out with their rankings, but as far as it goes right now, there's nothing really planned or set in stone, so I'm kind of just keeping an arm's reach to this. I still hold a decent amount of these, but I haven't really found a price that I feel comfortable buying additional. It seems like this 500 floor is still holding pretty strong, but I want to see where this floor is at in a couple weeks, and if it's higher, so be it. Maybe that's a time where I might buy a couple more, or I'm just going to keep holding on to the ones I have. The next project on the list is DEADPXLZ. Now, DEADPXLZ is actually piquing my interest simply because there's only 71 of these DEADPXLZ listed out of a 10K collection, and they've been in their boring phase for the longest amount of time right now, so it's pretty insane just how few are listed. Now, as far as things that have happened recently with them, they do have their whole entire Ding Royale, where essentially you're able to go in with ADA, buy these Ding tokens. They're locked for a certain amount of period of time, but they do have an interest that is accruing with them. And then depending on how much ADA you're doing, up to 10,000 ADA, you're actually going to be able to get one of their forged pixels, which you can see here. And obviously the more amount of ADA, the better your forged pixel is going to be. Now, what's kind of interesting here, and I think this is actually just a war redeemable thing right now, but there hasn't really been too many sales when it has come to this specific thing. As far as their roadmap goes and their actual battling that's supposed to happen in the future, I saw on their milestones that the actual testnet is supposed to come out in this quarter, and their actual alpha gameplay is supposed to come in the first half of 2023. So maybe this is a good time to pay attention to the project. I haven't gone out and bought any of these pixels right now, but like I said, they've been in their boring phase, yet at the same time have been maintaining a pretty strong floor with a low amount listed, and there does seem to be a lot of catalysts coming soon, so definitely a project to pay attention to. Next project on our list is a project that minted this week, and that is the NFTseeker tools. Now, NFTseeker had launched their OG passes some time ago, and they had actually ran up to like 800 ADA, I believe, before this actual drop. Now, there were some issues with the actual mint for these different tools, but the thing is, guys, is these tools are going to give you access to the different things they're building. It doesn't really seem like there's much right now, but it seems like they're going to build out a lot of stuff. And if you combine 3 of these, then in about 2 weeks, you're going to be able to burn them and get a new version of that'll have more tools and different things like that. So pretty interesting at overall. I'm not really investing in them simply because I like CNFT Jungle's pass better. I think that CNFT Jungle is going to build a lot more analytic tools, a lot more minting tools, a lot more sniping tools, and things like that over NFTseeker. So for that price difference, I actually do think that these Hunter passes are the better buy. But I know a lot of people really like what they're building here. I need to still deep dive all of the different things that they have planned, but I do know the stuff at CNFT Jungle is going to be pretty solid, simply because I know the team and I know a lot of the stuff they're building. The next project here is Spacebudz, and there really hasn't been anything new going on with Spacebudz. I keep saying that they do a few more sneak peeks of their updated art, but really, guys, there isn't too much going on in paper, so maybe something to pay attention to. It's pretty much been holding this floor price as well, and I'm almost wondering that they're planning on doing some sort of major utility announcement when they come out with their new art. That's just speculation, but if that was the case and they did something big, then I could see these going on an absolute run. Right now, I do think Spacebudz are kind of just like a ticking time bomb where you might be locking up a lot of liquidity, but then all of a sudden, if something big happens or a lot of hype comes with the art or they do some marketplace, I have no idea. Maybe all of a sudden these Spacebudz will go absolutely crazy. I don't own any right now, but I know one day I'll probably be like, dude, I don't know why I didn't own one of these, just waiting for the pop off. And I think a lot of people are going to be saying the same. Next thing here are the JPG Junkies. Now, there hasn't really been too much announced with the JP Junkies. They were a project that minted in the past month, and they bottomed out at like 100 ADA and now are all the way at 320 ADA. One of the things they said they're doing is that all of the royalties that they make in the month of November, they are going to evenly distribute with the 6,000 junkies. Now, one thing that I want to say here is they have a 5% royalty. So even if they get past this 1 million ADA worth of volume, which I'm sure they will by the end of the month, that only ends up being about 6 to 8 ADA per person that owns these junkies. So it's really not a ton of ADA, but it is cool to see that they're taking a lot of their funds that they're making in their first month, which is going to be the largest amount of royalties for a project, and they are giving that back to their holders, so that is something to shout them out about. The next project on the list is Clay Nation, and this has been on my radar for a long time now, guys. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that last month, they were supposed to come out with their marketplace for their Clay token, where you could buy a bunch of different stuff for their pitches, or all these different items, or maybe pants for your Clays, basically a bunch of stuff, and finally give utility to their Clay token. Now, that got delayed, but recently they've been posting pretty much every day different videos of their whole entire Clayverse, saying like soon and stuff like that. Like, this is obviously going to come out any day now, and once this comes out, this is going to be major catalyst. I don't understand why these Clays haven't gone on a more of a run before this catalyst. Maybe a lot of people don't know about it, but they have been teasing this marketplace. They have been teasing all of this Clayverse stuff, and I personally still am holding mostly their Clay token. I think their Clay token has the best chance of really running up, especially since a lot of the utility is going to be for their token, in my opinion, with this marketplace. But yeah, something to pay attention to. I could be totally wrong on this, but there's just been so much buildup, yet at the same time, their actual main Clays haven't really gone on a run yet. And if this utility is as big as they like to make things, and as polished as they like to make things, then I think there could be a whole Clay meta coming soon. Next project here are the Unbothered Wolves, and they minted in the past 2 weeks. Now, Unbothered Wolves have been holding this 100 to 150 ADA floor pretty well, and they recently came out with their AWU token that did go on an actual run for a period of time. Now, they haven't announced all the different utilities for that token, but they're actually saying that they're making a minting platform where project owners are going to be able to go on there, mint NFTs, and their only fee is going to be in transaction fees with their AWU token, and all of those AWU tokens are going to be burned. So I actually like that idea rather than minting NFTs with their token, because they just get sold anyways, so I don't really know the point of that. So I actually do like that idea. I just don't know how it's going to be a sustainable model for Unbothered Wolves if a lot of people use it. Because in order to mint an NFT as well as send that NFT, it's going to cost like 4 ADA an NFT. So if you have collections, and from my knowledge, right? So if you have collections that are minting 10,000 NFTs a month, all of a sudden, you know, you're spending a ton of ADA and transaction fees, yet AWU token is getting burned. So I don't really know how they're going to make this sustainable. Maybe there is a way to make it a lot cheaper, but even if it's like 2 ADA an NFT, guys, if they have 10,000 NFTs a month, that's 20,000 ADA, and their royalties are not going to be able to cover that. So they just need to make sure that whatever they do is sustainable, and maybe they shouldn't burn all of those AWU tokens. I have no idea, but something to pay attention to. Next thing here were the Ape Society cabins, and honestly, guys, it's the same thing like Ape Society. You're going to be able to build stuff in these pretty soon. Maybe they'll go on a little run after that happens, but I'm not as interested in these cabins. I'm still just trying to pay attention to the project. I really don't know right now if you wanted to invest in Ape Society, what exactly you buy. Do you buy the cabins? Do you buy the apes? Do you buy the tokens? I have no idea right now, so I am still just taking a step back, especially since the price of Society token has dropped a lot, and I don't think that's necessarily reflected in some of their other assets out there. But but maybe this whole entire craftsman type thing where you're able to build a bunch of stuff is going to bring a lot of hype, and maybe they go on an absolute run again. I have no idea. It's a little too risky for me. Next thing here are the Raccoon Syndicate. This pretty much finishes off our top 10. And the big thing with Raccoon Syndicate, guys, is they're having their final tier 1 mint happening December 3rd. There's going to be 2,000 tier 1 raccoons, and you're going to need 2 tier 2s, which are currently going for about 630 ADA in order to get whitelisted for it. There's also some different combinations out there if you want to be whitelisted for that drop, but it's all sort of like raffle based and holder based, right? Now, the mint price is going to be 170 ADA for them, and I'll cover them in an upcoming Cardano NFT mint video. But yeah, these tier 2 raccoons have been going on a run because of that. There's been a lot of volume with it, and their actual snapshot for this is happening November 21st if you did want to secure that whitelist. Personally, for me, I'm always a swing trader type guy when it comes to this sort of thing. I would much rather sell these tier 2 raccoons before this drop and then instead buy some of these tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3 raccoons after that drop happens if I'm bullish on the project, rather than hoping that I mint something good on this whitelist. But yeah, that's just my opinion, and now on to the next project. Outside of the top 10, I did want to bring up a couple more projects. The first one being the Mallard Order. Sometime in the next day or two, they're going to drop an article regarding their whole entire artifacts thing, and essentially a percentage of these artifacts are going to get airdropped to holders, and then a percentage of them are going to be purchased with their rune token. About 20% of these Mallard Order supply is going to be able to use that artifact in order to get like a mythic Mallard. So something to pay attention to. One thing with Mallard Order is I am bullish on them long term, but it's kind of hard to like know what's going on with that project unless you're a holder. And sometimes I feel that way with Jellycubes too. So I definitely and I know they're doing the whole secrecy thing, but I don't think a lot of people outside of Mallard Order really understand what's going on with this drop. Where maybe it would benefit them if they did. Next thing I wanted to bring up here is Mutant Crocs. They are doing their next collection where you're going to have to burn some of these crocs, toads, or mice, or a combination between them, as well as Mutant token in order to get their next collection. They still haven't specified the additional utilities or what exactly it's going to look like, but definitely something to pay attention to. Another project that's on my radar is Dead Rabbit Resurrection Society. I actually think this project could be an undervalued project. It seems like they have the art together, the team together. They just went live with their Dead token where you have to stake and to their stake pool, and then you're going to be able to use drip drops in order to claim those tokens, which isn't the best method, guys, because the amount of fees and ADA for claiming those tokens are actually high. So most of the time, it's not even worth claiming those tokens. But yeah, it's something to pay attention to. I think they have a lot of stuff going on with this project. They have another mint coming up somewhat soon-ish. They haven't really released a date for that yet, where you need to have their depot keys, but definitely a project on my radar. I haven't jumped in yet, but I do like what I'm seeing as far as long-term potential with them. Another thing that I wanted to bring up are the Javs and Jets from Cornucopias. These are pretty low right now, and they've been low for a while, and there aren't a lot listed. Now, their whole entire game and being able to race these should be coming out in Q1 of next year, but the actual reward infrastructure for that won't be till later on. Overall, though, something to pay attention to. I still have a decent amount of these, but I am kind of eyeing whether or not I should maybe buy some more right now. Another project on my radar is TED Nation. Now, TED Nation has been building a lot of stuff, guys. Their whole entire bear market should be coming out in the next 2 weeks, where you're going to be able to do raffles for the fluff token and other things like that. And they're hoping that they can develop this marketplace to do auctions and a variety of other things. They're also having their portal soon, where if you collect their portals, you're going to be able to send your TED through them, and you're going to get a completely different art design. So pretty interesting stuff there. And a lot of TED Nations aren't actually listed on JPEG Store either, which is a pretty good sign. I have some of these from Mint Day because I know the founders and I like the founders, so I've just been staking them, but something to pay attention to. They have been going on a run from like 200 to 350 ADA, so they are hot right now, but that bear market could be a pretty cool revenue stream for them and give more utility to their actual fluff token. Tavern Squad is another project on my radar, and if you hop into their Discord, which is not too much going on because this is an older project and a lot of people aren't paying attention anymore, but they are doing these really cool dungeons or raids where you're able to select these different Tavern Squad adventurers, basically get different stats from that. That gives you then a probability of winning a certain adventure. You stake your NFTs to it, so you can't do anything with them until that 1 week adventure is over. And then based on whether or not you win or lose, you can get different rewards and loot. It's actually fun that they have this sort of idea because I've had a similar idea, but I'm going to see how this plays out with them. I do think the idea can be really cool if they implement it properly and if there's actually a good rewards infrastructure. I haven't personally bought any yet, but it is on my radar. Next thing here are the Raison De Tere Cryogenesis. I'd bought a decent amount of these a while ago, around 200 to 220 ADA, pretty much where it's at right now. They did recently announce their mint date, and I believe it's going to be December 9th, so maybe something to pay attention to because a lot of these Genesis run up beforehand. One thing I want to say with this project is that they haven't done an incredible job marketing or building their community ever since this drop, so it worries me a little bit, but those PFPs do look cool, and they came out with a really cool interactive white paper maybe like a month or 2 months ago, and that's why I had bought these in the first place. So definitely something to keep on your radar right now. Another project to keep on your radar, Chibidango Heroes. Seems like they're finally getting a lot more developments along the way when it comes to their game. There isn't a lot listed, like 1% out of 20,000. Now, it is a pretty low floor, so maybe a lot of people simply aren't listing them, but it does seem like some of their developments are going to come out soonish and is worth paying attention to. Another similar situation when it comes to gaming is the Max by Phoenix Arena, as well as their divers and fluffies. We've had them on a call on the channel as well as in the Discord recently, and their whole entire alpha gameplay should come out in Q1 of next year. So depending on how well that does, maybe you start having people pick some of these different maxes up or divers up in order to get a good team or a good composition to hopefully win those different games. The last project that I wanted to bring up that I think might be worth paying attention to is Funplastic. Now, Funplastic used to be Benjamin's Eggs. They went on a crazy run to like 400 or 500 ADA back in like February. They hatched, they turned into these Funplastics. People weren't really fond of the art as much, and then they pretty much crashed a lot. One of the big things that is happening though is that the Funplastic team is the same team as Ada Anvil, and they do have a full on-board team of different developers. So what I could see potentially happen here is I could see them announce some pretty crazy stuff in their Benji's paper, which is supposed to come out in the next week or two, and depending on what they announce, maybe these go on a run. Not a lot of people have been paying attention to this project, and the floor is pretty low, so if what they have in their paper is insane, maybe there's going to be a lot more eyes on the project. And obviously, as always, guys, in these market update videos, we got to bring up Jellycubes. What exactly is happening in the Jellycube world? Well, guys, I'm going to make a specialized video if you're a Jellycube holder that talks about the overall strategy and stuff. But one of the big things that a lot of things are actually coming out in the next couple weeks. One of them is a complete redesign of the website. We're still building out the design right now, but essentially we're having this whole block investment group portal where you're going to be able to see all the different products and services that we offer. And then you're actually going to be able to go into these different sections and learn more about the project, mess around with the Cube Explorer, see our roadmap and stuff like that. Like I said, we're still working on the design, but it's going to be a lot better compared to our current website, and hopefully a lot more people will understand our project better. Another thing that we're doing is everything is kind of automated, so people are going to be able to go to the partnership screen, have an automated process when it comes to whitelist collabs. We have a whole entire doxed service as well as calendar that's going to come out in the same time, where they're literally going to be able to book this stuff. They're going to be able to put all of their different informations about their project. They're then going to get sent to Stripe, where they're going to verify their IDs, and then they're automatically going to schedule a call with me, so I'll be able to verify with them. We've already partnered with CNFT Jungle, so you'll be able to see our icon on every single thing that is verified. I'm working with JPEG Store right now and hopefully going to get something going with that. So pretty cool stuff. We're also doing our whole entire Launchpad setup with this as well, where people are going to be able to basically partner and get advising in the future. And right now, and like I said, we're still designing some stuff, but you're going to be able to go on the docs calendar and you're going to be able to see past mints as well as current mints. And basically, if you're someone that just wants to invest in docs projects only, you're going to be able to see that. We also have our custom node dashboard pretty close to completion. So we're going to have a way for anyone to pretty much be able to log on here with their Discord, connect their wallet, and then buy nodes. And we've actually created an automated process. So within like 12 hours, your node is going to be created. It's going to be on your dashboard. You're going to be able to manage it, such as extend the time or pay for a longer period of time. And that custom node is going to give you different advantages when it comes to minting. The last thing that should be done in the next couple weeks too is our whole entire automated lending platform, where you're pretty much going to be able to go in and, depending on the policy ID, select your NFTs in your wallet that fit those policy IDs and basically select a time frame of how long you want your loan, and you're actually going to be able to get an automatic loan. There is going to be a 50% collateral rate just so we make sure it's safe on our side. But let's say Ape Society's 5,000 ADA, 50% of that is 2,500. You're going to be able to go on our site, select the ape that you want to get a loan on, select how long you want it for. Different periods of time have different loan percents. It's then going to give you an order summary of how much the interest is going to be and how long you'll have the loan for. You're then going to be able to confirm that, and you're going to be able to get the ADA instantly, and at any point in time, pay back that loan and get your NFT back. So I'm pretty excited about that. We've been working on that for a while now, and that should be done sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks as far as a beta goes. And then we're going to slowly add different policy IDs that we trust, as well as continue to develop the features on it. And then, of course, we have Hero Cubes coming out this week as well, if I can get my freaking mind together to come up with some creative stories and stuff. But yeah, a ton of stuff happening with Jellycubes. It seems like it's all happening at the same time, so pretty pumped. That wraps up this week's CNFT market update. And I just want to say that even if you don't own a Jellycube or stake to the Block Investment Group pool, I just wanted to say thank you for watching these different videos and supporting the overall channel. I don't really say that enough, guys, just because it's been so crazy trying to manage this project and everything that I've been doing, but I do appreciate everyone that watches, and I have been going through and responding to a lot of the comments again like I used to. I was in a really good habit of responding to everyone, but then it was like starting to take like a lot of time, like hours of time, and then I stopped doing it for a while, but I am trying to go through and at least respond to some of the comments and read through a decent amount of them. So if you're someone that used to do that and stopped doing it, just know that I am going through and trying my best again. But yeah, that wraps things up. Hope you guys have an awesome day.